right. How do I? All right. So Luna's up there. Oh, Chloe, you see me here. So let me see. Are we live?
We are live.
I don't know why it doesn't. Let me see. Yeah, 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 yeah. There's a song I was listening to. So how do I see YouTube?
Let me see if I. Yep,
I hear it.
we're live.
Let me see. Get rid of this. Well, I can't see where the comments
Dear
are.
cow, what do you have some sort of chow or something?
Uh,
No, I don't.
that was Jeff Richards. All right, I can't see if anyone's on. If anyone's on, hello. My name is Ruchi Adelman. Okay, so what have you done? What have you done today, Cody? What have you done with yourself?
What have I done
What have you done now?
now?
I don't know why I don't see. Yeah, 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 she. Let me see. I won't leave. Are you getting any comments from anyone? You
Yes,
probably don't know. I don't
Scarlett,
see them.
Scarlett says almost a week until Jersey. I can't wait, she says.
Yes. Let me get my friend Joel to enter.
Oh yeah, Mr. Crone says Scarlett's cracking the whip for saying, chop chop, boys, it's been 20 minutes.
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
yes.
I can't get oh here comments. Chat GTB. Scarlett and Jeff and let's see what you've got. What did you do when you weren't? Let's see if my friend Joel clicks in.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know when he
It's a
pops.
beautiful day out.
It is here as well.
Uh, well, Luna seems to like the winter.
Mm.
I let me see Joel because Joel doesn't understand
He
what
does.
this is.
Oh really?
Yeah, so maybe I don't understand.
I don't think we want to understand what
Make it sharper.
I think the less you understand, the better it is.
Wait. Let me wait. So
What? What?
I'm trying to understand this from Al.
Uh,
I had 8 seats available. Peterman had 10.
Let me,
Hey Nick, this is Joel. This is Cody. Joel's a good friend. He goes back to when I was 17,
wow.
and we saw lots of movies. We like talking about movies. Now, Jeff actually, uh, um, Jeff knew you from Maybe We'll Have You Back as the guy. This is before the internet, before iPhones, before you could just do a whatever. I can't think of the words. This. So he used to love when I would just report to him what food were on TV shows, right, Joel?
Right.
Oh, we lost. Okay, are you shy? We don't see you.
No, I don't understand why that. How about now?
Now you're perfect.
Okay.
So, so Joel, if I could say it to his face, is a unique guy in that he would go to New York City, lives in Brooklyn, and he would, if he had like an appointment, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, Joel. You would get there sometimes early and just look at windows and look at menus and windows for an hour. You love menus. Is that correct?
Some of it is correct. What it is correct.
Okay, well,
If I went someplace that was strange to me, I would look at menus and know where I'd go to eat if I ever came back to that neighborhood.
I
See,
see.
interesting and all that. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, and if I knew I was going to a place, I would look it up and study the menu so I knew what I would probably get. It's easier to do that now.
But you love, like, if I would go to a restaurant you're not going to go to in LA, you'd go, send me the menu. I want to see the
That's
menu.
yeah,
So you love menus.
I do like to look at the food and I'm not a chef. I don't care about all that. I'm just curious about, the food. That's all.
Well, there's a term you were before they're called foodie now. There's
I,
yeah,
I think the term would be loony, not foodie.
yes. Well, another thing Joel would do, and we're old. Pikesville Al's around our age. Al is a guy from Baltimore, and now he lives I think he's in Florida. So he knows all the things like the places in Florida. There's a place, Kapok Tree, where you get these stupid tiki drinks. But when video stores were new, Joel would go there and spend maybe an hour and a half or longer looking at every video, right? To make sure you made the best pick.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Again, it's so long ago, but the sad part was eventually I got a job at Blockbuster. And the craziness that went on in video stores, like the world, it was a different world then. And going to a video store then, it was like going almost to like an attraction of some kind. I mean, you could watch any of those movies, and that was a big deal then. Not like now where you can almost look up any movie on your phone and get it somehow, pay for it, or have so many subscriptions you could watch it. I mean, because since I'm older, I go back to the old days when if you wanted to watch a movie, let's say you had, like, for me, WC Field movie, they weren't on all the time. So it's like you'd look in the TV guide when it came out.
Right.
You would go through every page, and especially you'd look at 2 o'clock in the morning because that's when they usually showed it, either 4 o'clock in the afternoon after school or late at night. And you didn't have the access you do now. So
But it made it more special where that it was an event. Like I remember one day, like as a kid walking home going, I hope there's a Jerry Lewis movie on this weekend, where it was an event, watching All in the Family. The whole country did it together.
every year, once a year, I think it was once a year, they'd show The Wizard of Oz, and the family would have like a special night. You'd go to the store, you'd get all the food, all the snacks, the ice cream, the sodas, the candy, the potato chips, the pretzels. You'd make popcorn. It was such a big deal, that it would be on television. And
Well, Al just said we had to buy a book, Leonard Maltin, to read reviews. Yes, I used to love. Well, not stole something from your friend Josh, but Josh used to underline and circle in TV Guide movies he wanted to see for the week. I don't know if you remember that. I have a weird memory, and so he would like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie and this, and circle from here to eternity. And I love TV Guide because I loved character actors like Look Who's Working or Paul Sanders in something or Herb Edelman. So I used to love TV Guide, and that was one of my dreams to be in TV Guide. So yeah, I loved reading cast lists. Every last cast member, man by bus, the waiter and everything. But yeah, it's just so Joel loves hearing what I do. So Joel had an interesting question. What the hell is this? What is this? He doesn't understand. I don't understand. So basically, Cody is a great guy. Cody is much younger than me, but he has the sensibility of he would watch like Gomer Pyle and F Troop and things like that with his parents. So he's not into this cool dumb stuff, robots and Star Wars. What shows did you watch and movies with your parents, Cody?
Well, it'd be like Mr. Ed or Green Acres. Um, like you said, F Troop is one of the good ones.
So he has this old time sensibility.
Hogan's Heroes.
We
Do you remember the Mr. Ed with Clint Eastwood? It was a great one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. The Mr.
He-
Ed was a good show. I mean, it sounds crazy. No one would understand it, but
Yeah.
really, the fact that Clint Eastwood was on that show, and you
Yeah.
know, Mr. Ed, he always wanted stuff, and he'd be on the.
Well, the Joel,
He was-
I tried doing a joke in my act. It didn't quite work. No one knew that Joel knew my mother. So Joel is great because he could bear witness. Because I used to say my mother was like, I remember how Mr. Ed would only talk for Wilbur and he'd look like he's crazy. So people would meet my mother. She's sweet. What are you talking about? No, do that thing. You're not doing that thing. So I felt like Mr. Ed because I looked like I was crazy, how he would only talk for Wilbur. And they never talked about why he only talked for Wilbur.
well,
Yeah.
probably because if he talked to other people, he wouldn't get any peace. He'd be on every TV show. You know, that people would be constantly bothering him. They
That's you figured it out. But so Cody does these his sensibility is like old school, like Peanuts. And now Joel loved comic book superheroes. I loved Peanuts, I loved Jughead, I loved Little Archie, Richie Rich. Joel loved superheroes. I did like the Thing because he was a misfit. He hated himself, he was ugly. He really had self-deprecation, right, Joel, the
well,
Thing?
a lot of the Marvel characters had, all they had an ailment. They were given some kind of problem. That's what Stanley wanted. He wanted them to have all these powers, but have like, an Achilles heel of some kind.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Every superhero had some kind of problem. If you check, every like I mean, Superman was the original. He had, kryptonite. But these other people, they had even, more personal problems. Daredevil being blind, and then Peter Parker Spider-Man lost his parent, and he felt guilty that his uncle died, that he could have saved him. Instead, he was doing his performance at night and didn't want to be bothered, so but every character had something.
Now, do you know what Al says? He was a member of the Merry Marvel Marching Society. I never heard of that.
Yeah, for people, I came into Marvel Comics. My friend Josh introduced me when I was in high school,
Yes.
and Stan Lee he was the ultimate promoter, and he always had something to try and get people to love his comic book. Some of it was like a fan club, and that was it. And he had ways of making his stuff look better than the other company, which was DC. And he always, had come up with that. He was amazing, Stan Lee, for doing that. But I like the Silver Surfer is another one. His weakness was, in order to save his planet, he had to promise Galactus that he would help him, and he was never able to go back home, to his home planet, and that was his kind of a weak spot. But if you thought about it, every character had some.
Now,
But
Scarlett asked, did we go to the same school? No, but it's kind of funny. I lived where I lived from when I was 5 to 22. I passed auditions at the Improv in my first 2 years. I would take the D train to by Coney Island, get home late, and my mother freaked out. She couldn't sleep. You're gonna get killed. And back then, as I said, we didn't have the internet or Facebook. Where here's Fred on stage. She didn't believe I was a comedian because I was very depressed and shy. And I understand why it made no sense to her. So one time she saw Joel She goes, "What's Freddie really do in this city? What's the truth? He's not funny. He's sick." Because comedians were like Buddy Hackett. And but when I first met Joel when I was 17, so we lived across the street from each other. We didn't even know each other. I don't know why. I knew people on my block, Lee, uh, Itzy, the rabbi's son. But for some reason, Joel lived like a little perpendicular on a place called Voorhees Avenue. And so when I first met Joe, my cousin actually said he went to school. Now, did you or Josh go to a different high school because they had a swimming program? Was that what?
No, no. The three of us all went to Dewey.
John Dewey?
Yeah, and Jerry introduced us, and then and then once I became friendly with you, I became the kid across the street to your mother.
She'd go, "You went the kid across the street." Yeah, she always goes, "There's something wrong with him." Yes, and
But the first idea I got about Freddie's mother, though, was when I went over to his house the first time. There was like a bowl of fruit, and she would write like Post-its on it, like, "Freddie, you can eat this apple," or I mean, there was like all over the place.
like Post-its, like
I
food
never
in refrigerator, apples to eat, like napkins. She would put Post-its on everything, like you can't say the R word, mentally challenged. Like she'd remind me what pencils were for. Yes, I forgot about that. The Post-its.
Maybe she thought you were like the guy from Memento who had a bad memory, and she wanted.
Memento. she she is oh my God. Yes. So when I first met Joel, he turned me, there was these things, Howard the Duck, but they had these, how do you explain it? These comic books, like the Howard the Duck was this
Well,
size.
they just re-released those. I was in a comic book store, and they released those oversized comics, and one of them, I think, Superman fights Muhammad Ali, and Superman fights the Hulk. I mean, they did crossovers, and that was a way to get more interest in comic books. They're so big and gigantic, so that's why they did those big comics. But it's funny because they just re-released them. I saw that, but that's what they've been doing lately.
Luke Cage was in an oversized one I had.
Yeah, I don't remember that one because I probably didn't have that one. I had some. They were beautiful, but again, because of the size, I mean, they were hard to just keep track of them. And you put comic books in plastic. They didn't have plastic for those giant ones.
Yes.
I mean, but they were beautiful. But Freddie, if you go into a comic book store, if they have any near you, you could look, and it's just funny to see them. That they
Well, I
re-release.
remember also I not so much superheroes like you. I loved Mad Magazine and Lampoon. And Lampoon would have these big special ones, like the big ones too. I remember a few of those.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember that. What I remember with Mad is I used to have to go to some relatives, and I hated going there. And my mother would let me buy like the paperback Mads, and I used to love those
oh,
little.
snappy answers to stupid questions.
They were like 35 cents. They were little paperbacks. They had everything in it, just like the regular
The
one.
Dave Berg ones,
They
like
had all,
the lighter side of.
but they were really great. Those little paperback Mad magazines.
Oh, I wish I still had them. Yeah, I had one. Well, for hair, I love Treat Williams. There was like they had these photo novels of like books. Like, do you remember like the color pictures from hair and like a little paperback? They had some.
They would have stuff from the movie and the dialogue in it. Yeah, those were great. Those were great.
Now, Al,
The sad thing now is you go into like mostly bookstores have them. They don't have like magazines in every grocery store like when we were growing up. But like you look in like Barnes and Noble at the magazines, and they're like $15. 20.
oh, comic book. Now, Al asked, did you ever send away for Jonathan Smith catalog? I don't know what that was.
I don't know
But
what I don't know what that is.
well, one time I sent away for the American Seeds. where you sell seeds, and no one was buying them. So my father bought them, and I got a pitchback. Do you remember pitchbacks?
What's a pitchback?
That was this thing where you throw a baseball
Oh yeah, that's on
and
the.
it throws it back at
Yeah,
you.
that's great. Oh,
Pitchbacks.
there he goes. He's got it.
Wait, what's that?
He's got a mad paperback.
Oh, Matt goes to the movies.
Oh, that's great.
Ooh, Darn Mountain drops 13 stories. I
I
remember that
I
one.
a lot of the mad stuff, but I really never was a fan of the Spy versus Spy.
Yeah,
Ooh, what's that one?
I do actually. I'm with you on that. I always liked the.
I like the lighter side one movie thing. Oh, he's got them. Yeah, those are great. Also, what Mad did in the annuals is they used to reprint the comic book satires they did, like Tarzan and Superman. So in the old Mad annuals in the beginning, they would in color have a like a reprint of the what was that? I didn't see that corner thing. Oh yeah, the Mad.
Wow, you got some good ones.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah,
I,
Mad stuff.
Now, Cody, how did you get into Mad? Is that also because of your parents, or because you love sketching things?
Well, it started out with the way I first saw Mad was the library, and they had. I can show you the book that I saw at the library. I ended up buying it.
They had some great artists that worked for Mad. They had great artists.
This
Mad,
is,
Oh,
Mad art. That's nice. That's nice.
and it has like all the lists of the artists of.
But I got to like a lot of artists from the superhero comics, and a bunch did early Mad stuff. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Like I was a fan of like Mort Drucker, Norman Mingo's covers, and like I think that really kind of Jack Davis was another one I tried.
Jack Davis did a lot of album covers.
Oh right, yeah. You know what? Oh, I don't.
He did a lot of album covers. He was amazing how many he did. I think he did It's a Mad Mad World. I'm not 100%, but yeah, but he did an amazing amount of album covers.
Cody's work is a combination of like Crumb and Art Crumb and a little bit Mad Magazine-ish. So we're putting this together. So basically, Joel, Cody likes this little sense of community.
That page is great. That one.
Oh my God.
Who did that one?
That is Jack Davis.
That's yeah. That's even on the screen, the little screen I have. That's beautiful.
I know. Yeah, the expressions and everything. Like here's an interesting one of it's like King Kong or something.
Yeah, that's really great.
I remember now, Josh, I guess, influenced Joel. I just bought a book called Trots and Bonnie from Lampoon, and Sherry Flankin was her name, and Josh got an autograph of Trots and Bonnie. It was like a kind of a risque thing in Lampoon. So basically, Cody is little by little, no AI,
Yeah, that's nice.
doing this story that's a combination of animation and stills. Almost the goal is to put in film festivals. It's a story I always wanted to tell. Joel knows a lot. When I was drowned in Florida, Fred Willard going to his Christmas party, growing up with my father who was kind of shell shocked from the war. Sonny and Cher? No. So it's like
Beautiful. Yeah.
so little by little, Cody has a full-time job. He's not always available. So it's a he likes doing this where he works on it, and sometimes we kind of got it's going to be in 4 sections when we're new with a thing like this is mostly filling it in now. We'll have an idea, and sometimes people chime in. Why don't you have luggage in the background like you're carrying it for Norm? So it's a way to kind of motivate Cody to work because he sleeps. I'm just kidding. No, it's just a way to hey.
I'm sure boss feel great about hearing that.
Yeah, no, Cody's amazing. No, but it's a way so he doesn't have to work alone. We hang out, people ask questions. Do you know who Ethan Klein is? His wife was an I what? All right. Cody needs to get into S. Clay Wilson We need more gay pirates in here. Okay. All right. Now there's another thing, Joel, you don't pay attention to. There's a guy named Kevin Brennan who he does a thing where it's very risque and they yell at each other. So sometimes when they hear we're doing this, some of them come on to here and they think this is very mellow, tame. We're just hanging out. People like Al and Raphael and Scarlett are devoted and they just like hanging out. And but some of them they think keep kicking money to Climax and he'll pass it on to Meltdown or Melton. There's a place, Meltdown Comics. So
What is
there's
that?
there's a comic book store in LA. There was I was never into these graphic novels. I wasn't a big, I mean, maybe the old-fashioned ones you like, Joel, but they have so many different ones. And this is Luna. And so let me ask you, so Al, so you checked out, so this thing that I'm going to do in Jersey, Meltdown is gone. Fred, do you do your drawings in a book? Well, what I'm hoping to do, Joel and everyone, is once we do this short film for festivals, then these pictures Cody can put into, we're going to do a book telling the story, not in just animation thing, and then put a lot of the stories Cody's already done, and we'll make our own little book. And I just want to have a book of short stories, one panel stories. I just always loved, well, when I say I don't like graphic novels, I mean these kind of dystopian ones. But I like kind of like Harvey Pekar, real life stuff. And you even once said, Joel, many years ago, you should try to tell your stories with like illustrations. It would work better. And so Cody is a great creative partner. And heavy metal. So what short films? So this is little by little. Okay, so Joel and everyone, there's a story I keep saying I always wanted to tell, and we were starting to do it, and Cody did a very rough version, and I said, oh, this is going to take forever. Let's just do short stories. I sent you on Substack, but then I revisited the one with the audio and very sketchy of this. I said, I like this. Let's just finish it. Let's just, however long it takes. So with these, it's little by little finishing. Show Joe the thing with my mother, because my mother, this is the thing where I'm talking about her, and she goes, it's almost over, because she would always say that. Oh, we don't have audio when you do it like this, Cody, but I guess, so this is just showing how I have I don't know about you, Joel. Joel had not a great family upbringing like me. So I don't, Christmas holidays have no meaning, just the way it was brought up. So this joke is like, as I'm saying that showing like a photo album, but no memories, you know?
Right.
And so I'm kind of like telling the story and then why we weren't a holiday family. Forget holiday family, we weren't a family. And then is this where I say, sure, we'd sit at the table, but my mother would go, you're a liar, you didn't do your homework. And my father would, like, Joel met him, he hardly talked, would just sit there and food would come out of his mouth as he talked because he had, in the war, they said they did bad dental stuff with him. So it's just me talking and he's kind of illustrating it like almost like it's from a graphic novel that already exists. And so then there's one where my mother says, holidays, well, I say every holiday meant 1 year closer to death. How many more do we have left of these? I don't want to know. It's a holiday. What do we have, 20, maybe less till it's almost over? This is my father eating the steak, and I said the steak always comes out. All right, Kevin is bored, they're saying. All right, what are you going to do? So
I never saw your father eat. All I remember about your father is that he didn't talk and he liked to drink. That's all I remember.
Yes,
Very quiet.
Yeah, and this is kind of like explaining he was in the war.
Yeah.
So he was Anzio, and
Well, that's amazing, though. The father was there. It's just amazing.
yes.
You know, when you watch the movies, when they show it, with realistic stuff. I mean, what's amazing to me is Yogi Berra was, he was on D-Day. He was on one of those boats, and watching him all those years, I didn't know about it until a few years ago.
Wow.
And he was like 18 years old, and look at the kind of person he was. You never would have guessed.
Yeah, well, my Bobby, who I lost, he did a movie with Lee Marvin, sorry, and he said
What's that? The
Lee,
red line?
yes, and he said
Yeah.
Lee Marvin was drunk almost every night, but he did his job, that he was very traumatized from the war.
Yeah, he was a tough Marine in real life. Yeah.
Yes. But he said he was a sweet guy. He worked with John Wayne, and Bobby said something. He goes, Carradine, you're a ham like your dad. I guess John Carradine. And Cody, you got to meet Bobby,
That
when
was
we
He
came
was
to Ohio.
Boys, right?
What's that?
Robbie Carradine was in the Cowboys with John Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was his first movie where he played a guy called Slim. And he wasn't so slim later on, but
No, I
he,
love those John Wayne westerns. A lot of them are my favorite westerns, and I like the ones where what is it with the brothers? The ones with the brothers when his mother died, and Dean Martin and John Wayne and Earl Holliman.
yeah.
Then the younger guy, I don't remember. I don't remember, but also True Grit, and no, and those El Dorado,
but I thought when I said I went to see the Cowboys, I thought you didn't like it because that's the only one where he dies.
It doesn't bother me that he dies. It just it's not one of my favorite movies. He dies in another movie though, the one with Ron Howard. The
True Grit? No, the
No,
shootist.
like the gunfighter. Or no, that was Great Peck. But he later in life he was in a movie with Lauren Bacall and Ron Howard, and he was dying of cancer in the movie.
I don't remember the one.
Real life.
So this is my mother, Joel, in the corner, and I'm saying she always said it's almost over, and then look what Cody has. She burst through the calendar. It's all over, So it's something. So it's just a story I want to tell, and he's doing these great touches to it.
Did
And
you
then
show him any videos of your mother?
what's that? Yeah, yeah. There was one where we all use the expression where I show her this video. She goes, "Could it be sharper?" And so
What
we
about the
always
one in the car?
we're in the
He was
car.
yelling about directions or something one time. Why are you going that way? I don't know. In Florida, you went to visit her and you filmed it on your phone.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if I showed him that one. I got to find it, but
But that's nice, her coming out of the calendar.
yeah, no, Cody has so many effects and stuff. Um, he This is so basically, Joel, it starts off where I'm at Fred Willard's Thanksgiving dinner, and everyone has to say what their favorite holiday. No, a different question. My question was, what's your favorite holiday tradition? I couldn't think of any, and Joanne Worley was getting impatient. Come on, just pick any one of them already. And I felt like a freak, like I don't know about holiday traditions. We never. And then it made me reflect here. We weren't a family like I'm saying. We weren't a holiday family. It was like I'm a different species. And so then I go, wait a minute, there is one Christmas I remember. And then we flash back and I'm going to Florida, and it was where my father, even though he didn't talk, I guess he was drunk then I think of it. We went to some cheap hotel where all there was for us to do was play bingo every night. And one time, so unlike him, I'm sitting and he goes, bingo. Like, and I'm laughing. I never heard my father talk, and he's screaming like a gay guy, bingo. And and how I know he connected our family. There was the one time, and we won a
Maybe
prize.
bingo before you didn't know.
What's that?
Maybe he never had a bingo before and he just wasn't
It's
sure how
just
to.
weird just hearing him scream like a crazy I guess a gay bingo, like he could care less. And he started clapping like a monkey when they gave him the toy and then the prize. And it was just so alien. And then the next day I almost drowned in the ocean. So it's a story, and it's like almost like a documentary. His World War II stuff, what happened to him, and stuff like that. But I want to ask Al. So about this event I'm doing, which way? Um, so Al was able to. So I don't understand now. Scarlett, she pays extra. She's coming from Ohio to Jersey, and she's at the VIP table, meaning she's sitting with me. Now, does each Seinfeld person have their own table? Are you saying like I have 8 spots left in my table, Al, and the Soup Nazi has 10? How does this work? What's going on? It's going to be crazy, Al. If Al's still there, but I was curious about that.
Freddie, we went to bingo one time.
All I remember you, Joel, is one time your
On the
wife. You're
side.
gonna remember this story. We were playing Pictionary, and I have such bad handwriting, and I can't draw. You know, look at my father. I didn't inherit that. So he was looking at the other people's clues, like he wasn't trusting me as the partner. But where did we play bingo?
We played bingo on the Upper West Side when you were living there. We decided for some reason to go play bingo, but we couldn't take it after 20 minutes because the smoke was unbearable for us.
Wow, I don't remember this.
No, yeah, the smoke we could, we just left. We didn't get to yell bingo or anything.
Do I know how many seats at my table, Scarlett? I don't know any of this. I want to find that out. I don't know, but Joel has crossed paths with lots of people. So I tried comedy at 17. I quit for 3 years. In those 3 years, I just met Joel right after I quit. He tried doing it, and then he quit. And then he was a fire guard at Catch a Rising Star. They had some fire violations, so people were paid to sit with with a flashlight in case there's a fire and watch the show. And you got to see Robin Williams, Richard Belzer, right? So many people. David
Yeah,
Brenner, Rodney.
Belzer cursed me out because I really didn't want to hear his act, and I was listening to the World Series on my radio, and he starts saying, "Who are you, the fucking FBI?" Because I had an earplug in my ear, and you know what? I didn't want to try to be funny with him, so
Right.
I didn't say anything, because that was my job and anything. I didn't want to be funny.
Your job to sit there with a flashlight.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I didn't really like his act, you know what I mean? He would do the Mick Jagger impression and all that. But I got to see Bill Maher and I didn't like him personally, but I felt that he was going to be a success because he was so polished. And
yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield cursed me out one time because he wanted me to go outside and watch his car because he was at the hydrant. And I said, I can't. I have to sit here with the flashlight. And he goes, well, fuck you.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
That's a
Wow.
great story to be cursed out by Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, well, that's a
Got cursed out by Roberta Flack too at a different
Why
job.
did she curse you out?
What?
Why did Roberta Flack curse you out?
I got a job. It was actually probably on West 72nd Street. This horrible job. This is before answering machines. And it was a place where people could leave messages for you. Yeah, I don't remember what you called it. But I was told when I got the job, do not let anybody call you collect. You know, So I got a call, and it was Roberta Flack, and she goes, "This is Roberta Flack. I want to make a collect call to see my messages, hear my messages." And I said, "I'm sorry, we don't accept collect calls," and I hung up on her. And there was like 8 other people that were operators like me. She calls back again and got me, and I did the same thing. She said she cursed me out and hung up, and then the supervisor came over to me a few minutes later because she called him. And he goes, "Why did you hang up on Roberta Flack and not accept her collect call?" I said, "When I got the job, I was told do not accept collect calls from anybody." And you didn't say except Roberta Flack. So I'll
Yeah, they
always
should have said.
remember, that she cursed me out, whenever one of her songs goes on.
That's
I wasn't
crazy.
long for that. Wasn't a great job. It was terrible.
You also were a elevator operator or a doorman. I forgot which one.
Yeah, that was nice. You know, in just the pay was good, but it was a very depressing job. I worked at night on Fifth Avenue. But the highlight was one night Frank Sinatra was at a party with Rex Harrison, and I knew that he was going to come down in my elevator
Wow.
because he was in one of my favorite movies, From Here to Eternity.
You know, I just
Wow.
came upon it the other night, just the ending. Said I gotta watch it again.
But
I just
I wanted to tell him that you were in one of my favorite movies. That was my plan to say that to him. So he got in the elevator with Cordell Colbert. Right, this was
uh-huh.
probably about 1979. And before I could say anything, he said to me, he said, "Young man, you drive the elevator very well." And I kind of stammered and I said, "Well, thank you. You act very well." And that was it. But still, it's Frank Sinatra. I mean,
Great.
he was great in that movie, and years later I got to appreciate his singing, which I didn't at that time. Because I was
Yeah.
rock and roll and everything. And then I got to appreciate him later. But no, he was in some good movies, Frank Sinatra, though.
Yeah, he was in a well, so when I used to open for Norm, you couldn't just go home. You had to, the plane lands, come on, hang out. So we watched this movie, Some Came Running, with Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that. And he thought it was funny because they called Shirley MacLaine's character a whore. So to him, that was funny. But yeah, Sinatra was in that sad movie about the drug addict.
The Man with the Golden Arm.
Yes, yes.
He was also in that really good movie that they remade with Denzel Washington, about the Chinese spy becoming president.
Oh, I forgot what it's called. Manchurian Candidate.
Manchurian Candidate, yeah. And he was really good in that movie, Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Oh,
And a good
sorry. Look at this. This is a fun thing where I'm saying I can't remember one Halloween costume, and these people open up and then they slam the door on me. So that's so, Joe. Let me ask you something. When your childhood, similar but not similar, but similar in some ways to mine. I don't there was no joy of festivity. Chairman, he was the chairman of the board. Oh, Ocean's 11, of course, the original one came from Sinatra.
yeah.
Um, but I don't remember ever sitting around with my family and like watching a movie or a TV show and laughing. We just didn't do that together. Did you watch movies and TV shows
We
with the
watched movies and TV shows together. We played a lot of cards together.
Okay, I never did any of that.
My father loved sports, and we even played Nerf basketball together.
Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. My
Nerf
Nerf
basketball?
in the house. Yeah, we had a basket, Nerf basketball with my father. But one thing with my father, though, he would cheat in every game we ever played.
Oh, I tell the story about Trivial Pursuit.
Well, first of all, he cheated in Monopoly. He cheated in Monopoly. People say, "How do you cheat in Monopoly?" He would be the banker, and he would take money. He'd take extra money, and he cheated in Scrabble. Now, how do you cheat in Scrabble? Well, he would put a blank down, and you'd find out later in the game it wasn't a blank. And in Trivial Pursuit, one night we're playing. It was my sister, my younger sister, my mother, and my father. And I was playing teammate with my mother, and it got to be the final piece. My father, if he answered the question, he'd win the game. And I knew right away he
It
should.
was a question about Bob Dylan.
No, this was about which group Road to Fame with Light My Fire. There's no way he would know that one. No way. So he made believe like it was a tough question. Like, wait, I think I know that one. I think I know it. And then he said, The Doors, and I said, that's it. You cheating. You cheated. And he goes, no, I knew that one. It took about a month of me prodding him one day he finally admitted, he goes, well, at night I would go upstairs and study.
Study with Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, he studied the cards, the answers, but he always looked for an edge. One time in a baseball game we were playing, and I was probably 7 years old, and he hit 5 home runs in a row against me, and I started crying because I was a sore loser. And then he said, wait, you try these dice. You'll hit a home run. He had some phony dice. And in the game, if you got a 7 or 11, you got a
Your
home
father
run.
was like a professional cheater.
Yeah. You know what? He grew up, and you know what? He grew up not having a lot of money. And he had to kind of he was doing what do you call a pool shark when he was in a teenager. So I mean, he had all these ways of doing things.
He was a hustler.
He was a hustler, and you know what? Years later, I made my peace, and you know what? He had a lot of problems, and he couldn't help it. Growing up with it, it's not fun. But years later, you know what? I came to the conclusion, he could not help his negativity, and instead of me like blaming him for anything in my life, I just said I'm gonna do better. And I'm going to appreciate, he was a family man. He loved his family and all that, but he had a lot of mental problems and he couldn't control them. But, at the end, I mean, I got along with him fine and all of that. And I made my peace. It put me through, made my life harder than it should have been and all that, like Freddie in a lot of ways. And, I didn't have warm, fuzzy moments in holidays either. I mean,
Yeah.
at the holidays, my mother always cooked. I remember Thanksgivings. I remember more than any other thing, and I don't really, I don't have those moments like Freddie,
No reverence for the past.
No, not, with the holidays. I mean, the food was, what I remember. My mother would make, turkey and for the Jewish holidays.
Now, Joel, my mother didn't cook, but she had a part-time job from the city. She'd come to Sheepshead Bay train station and get chicken somewhere and then bring it, already cooked. Do you remember this place? Some place that had already broiled chickens or in the Sheepshead Bay around the train station?
I don't remember that so well. What I remember at the train station really was the bagel store.
Mm-hmm.
And that and the pizza place was really good right near the train station. But I since I really wasn't buying it then, what I remember on Nostrand Avenue and Avenue X, I don't know if she went over there. It was a Jewish takeout, and that was the first time I ever saw what do you call it? The tattoo that someone had been in a prison camp,
Oh.
and that's the lady that catered my bar mitzvah. So I'll always remember. And here it is. It's like 60 years later, and I still remember they were the best, like sweet and sour meatballs I ever had in my life. But no, I don't remember. That I don't remember.
Connie's. I remember they don't have in LA Italian ices.
They
That's
don't
what I
have
love.
that.
Not really. No, they'll have like a slush drink some places, but
No, not the
they
same.
don't have good knishes. Like there was a place on Nostrand Avenue right by Sheepshead Bay High School. It was a deli. Remember they had Frank's and
It was Moongate. Remember the Chinese restaurant Moongate?
yeah, but no, not a Chinese restaurant, but they had a deli right
Yeah,
by
go there for
MUX.
when I was in Shellbank.
Yeah,
You didn't
they
go to Shellbank.
no. Um, went to a private school. My mother was worried about me, but I remember they don't have good chicken noodle soup out here.
But you used
Just
to go to a deli though, a Jewish deli where you used to live.
Cantors.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. They didn't really have knishes. They had their attempt at it, but they didn't have great chicken noodle soup. There's a lot of
Are
things
they still
in
there?
New. What's that?
Are they still there?
Yeah.
Okay. What about in Brighton Beach? Did you go to that Knish place in Brighton Beach Avenue?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would just
Abbott's Knishes, Kasha Knishes?
no. I just it was either Nostrand Avenue or in Coney Island, Nathan's. Um, the hot dogs. I remember saying I would have hot dogs with ketchup. Oh, I loved sometimes at the Little League game. I would get those pretzels with mustard. I love pretzels. They don't have that a lot here.
Right. Yeah.
But did you ever go watch? There was a Little League. Remember
King,
by Knapp Street,
hey, Little League. I was in it.
the one by Knapp Street.
Yeah, I was in that Little League.
Oh yeah,
I played there.
yeah. Was your father like the Great Santini? Did you ever see that movie?
I saw it. My father, he was my brother's coach, and he was like Carl Malden and to Tony Perkins in the Tony Pearsall story.
I don't know that movie.
Yeah, he was Tony Pearsall was being screamed at by his father. He would do that to my brother.
Now,
So was on a first place team. My father would scout the other teams. My father was very good at it. He was really, really, great at that. And
now Jeff asks, I think I could answer this question. What is your favorite place to eat? I think answering for Joel, I think the chicken parmesan. Is that your favorite?
like I always say, Italian food is my favorite. Chicken parmesan, yeah, chicken parmesan is my favorite. If I go to an Italian restaurant, I order that 9 out of 10 times.
There was a place, Joel, briefly, where I think it's like a little bit, maybe not near Bedford Avenue or maybe
Pizza
near
Bowl.
what's that?
Pizza Bowl on Avenue X.
With no, they had these little half chicken parmesan sandwiches.
Okay, I'm not sure then,
There
but
was an Italian restaurant
yeah,
near, like, if you go maybe up Nostrand, but a few blocks towards Knapp Street, that direction, there was maybe above Avenue U. There was a place that had these mini crispy chicken parmesans.
what street is it on though? What's the main street?
It was off Nostrand, but it was like a few blocks, like I said, towards Knapp Street, like Avenue X or a little, no, past Avenue U. I forgot the name of the place.
It wasn't on Avenue X, was it?
Maybe.
It wasn't called Hand Fingers, was it?
I don't remember. But they had this delicious little, and I talked with Joel. We're old enough to remember there was a place called Arthur Treach's Fish and Chips. But the best thing they still have is a place called Roland Roaster, where they have these delicious French dip sandwiches. And I can't believe it's still there.
They've been there for 50 years now. I worked there when I was 18 years old. For 1 month, I worked there.
Wow.
I still go back when I'm in the neighborhood. I still go back, And Brennan and Carr is still there, but I liked it, but I never really fell in love with Brennan and Carr. They're very famous.
I remember when I used to go to King's Plaza, I take the bus to Avenue U, and then you wait right by Avenue U to go down towards by Brennan and Carr.
Yeah.
When I worked many years ago with Estelle Harris, who died from Seinfeld, she said she started out doing theater at Cookies in King's Plaza. There's a
Right.
place called Cookies.
Right.
So, do they still have juniors or seniors?
Juniors is famous for its cheesecake. They're downtown Brooklyn on Flatbush Avenue, around DeKalb Avenue, and they're famous. But seniors been going a long time.
Yeah.
Seniors, my sister had a Sweet 16 there.
At seniors?
Yeah, and you remember Martin's?
Wait. There was L.H. Martin's. What was that?
No. Martin's was a luncheonette on the corner of Nostrand Avenue, and I think it was V.
No. I remember. Was that Jan's
why?
ice cream
No.
parlor?
What about Jan's?
That was Nostrand and Z, right? Jan's.
Yeah, Nostrand and Z. That was near. They used to have Crest there. Crest.
Cress.
L.H. Martin years later.
Well, you always remember, you always liked the story that I applied for Cress, or maybe it was L.H. Martin. I got the job, and then I decided, no, I don't want it. So I didn't even go.
I actually got a job there at one point, and they were closing down. It was just before they closed down for the end. But
Wow. So is this entertaining, Cody?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
sort of the behind the scenes of your guys's, you know.
tell you
Joe,
know,
you remember, wait, do you remember when I decided I wanted to try comedy? We went to a place where they had a comedy night at Gil Hodges Bowling Alley.
Hmm.
We lost Joe for a second. A bowling alley had a comedy night.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see if we lost him.
Oh,
But yeah, just he was the guy I hung out with in Brooklyn.
wow. That's pretty cool. You guys still?
Yeah. Well, he's in Brooklyn now, and
Oh, really? He lives in Brooklyn now?
oh yeah. Just I guess we lost him.
We did. I don't know. I could see if I could.
Yes, he's a childhood friend. Actually, from 17. We lived across the street, and my mother thought he was a troublemaker.
That's
And
funny.
just Brooklyn, Brooklyn was before it became artsy and gentrified. It was like Welcome Back, Kotter,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like Saturday Night Feverish part of Brooklyn. Hey, Nick, we lost you. Oh, let's
Oh,
see if he came back, but got a little. Hey,
yeah,
so
I got lost.
did
Uh,
you remember Gil Hodges had a comedy night we went to in a bowling alley?
yeah, that was horrible. I think they had an all Asian night the night you went.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I seem to remember like the one night you showed up, it was all Asian night or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I just remember it was far and it seemed like a waste of time.
Yeah, Brooklyn. I mean, just
Remember, like when you had retired from comedy, and I had started doing comedy. You came over to my house, and you asked me, "What do I do?" And I said, "I don't know. I just get on stage and try to be funny." And you said, "You mean you don't prepare?" And I say, is that what people do? I never knew that. I mean, then whatever I thought was a good bit, I had written it down, and I'd had a list of the things that I would do, but I had never, I was never that organized, so like, you know it helped a lot when you said, well, you should have something prepared. I had never imagined
I'm
that.
going to give a comedy seminar. I'm going to give an online course.
Well, the thing was, where growing up, I was always the class clown. I was funny wherever I went. So I figured I'll just go there and be funny. I've always done that. So, you know what I mean? It just seemed natural. And, I didn't know that you have to be prepared. I mean,
Well, growing up back when me and Joel grew up, people weren't sophisticated. We didn't have the internet. Now everyone could just listen to a podcast, listen to this. This is how I started. Pull the curtain back. I remember I watched Sanford and Son, and it said written by. I go, well, what does that mean, written by? I didn't even, I didn't even think as a kid, or but however old I was. What does that mean? I thought they're just there. It's Fred Sanford, and they're funny. I was so unsophisticated. You know.
you know what? Nowadays, you Google everything. People Google it. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you write a I'm quitting letter, or a letter to someone who just lost a relative? I mean, a lot of it is somebody else telling you, basically, without you having to think from your heart or do that. I mean, there's pluses and minuses. I mean, you know, I look up medical things all the time, and you know, it's just it's a different world. I mean, when we were growing up, there were no answering machines. I mean, sometimes it would take you 2 weeks to reach somebody on the phone. I mean,
Well, Joel, I'm not. I guess Joel. I don't want to, out you or anything. Meaning, I guess you were
don't tell.
struggling more financially than I was. So I would call you, meaning I'd always give you a break and call you long. Just go, call. You'd call me. I go, well, I need to talk to you. Then you go, call me back because there's no such thing as long distance $200 phone bills anymore.
That's
It,
amazing that I ran into that as well. You know, I mean, that it's just an amazing thing that changed. You know,
it
that's
used to be like a long distance relationship. I dated someone a million years ago where every month, and I remember looking at the phone bill. Wait, this one to Joel? I just called, this was not even to that still was in California. How's that $3? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
yeah.
one
I mean, there are things that are better now. You know, that's an example, and there's a lot of things that are worse now. It's you know, it's a crazy world. You know, it's like if you had, you know, been asleep for 50 years. I mean, just was that when I didn't watch that TV show? Was it with what Rocky? What's his name?
Oh, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, yeah. What that show when he was in prison and then he went out west somewhere after being in jail for 40
Oh, I
years.
don't know that show.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
looked like a good show,
yeah.
but but you know, he gets into this taxi and he's talking to the driver and he goes, wouldn't it be great if there was a place and you can just call up and ask any question and they can answer it for you? And the guy said, yeah, an iPhone, we have it. And he said, stop fucking with me, you know, because he didn't even, you know, understand that it's true now, that you could just find out anything. You know, in the old days you'd have to have an encyclopedia to find anything out,
Oh,
you
I
know.
remember, yeah, getting a phone booth. There's a scene in movies where old movies that they go to the phone booth and they rip out the phone book and they tear out the page and yeah, I mean, like the mystery. I remember I would see a movie and it would blow me away and I'd have questions about it. I kind of like that better than now, even though I'll ask questions, what did this mean? What did that mean? And even though it's answering it, or you see YouTube, or the cast at some festival, yeah, we did it, and it was kind of fun when you didn't know much about what the movie is. A Tulsa King. I think I told you, Joel, that one time I met Tarantino because he came to the farmers market table,
Mm,
with Paul
oh
Mazursky,
yeah, yeah,
and I said, now in Inglorious Bastards, when Shoshana is sitting next to the Jew hater, what was it, the Jew hunter, what was his name?
yeah.
I said, did he know that was Shoshana from the beginning that escaped him? He goes, movie secrets.
Uh,
Like, and so he doesn't like, yeah, and I kind of like that. Now you could just, so all right, I don't mean to go on a long tangent. So I didn't get into Sinatra till late in life. I was walking through a Korean deli in Manhattan. There was a song I liked. Uh, love's been good to me. So before the internet, I wanted that song, but it was not one of Sinatra's big obvious songs. So now you could just put in, you hear a lyric, what song is this? And you put in a few words in the lyric and you get the song. So I had to buy every cassette because to find it, but I ended up falling in love with Sinatra because I was like, oh, this is great. And so there were pluses, and also same thing. Well, I love Dog Day Afternoon, and the song was Amarina in the beginning, Elton John, but I didn't have the internet, so I was buying all these Elton John. So I've had it happen where with a cassette, even though no one listens to cassettes anymore, let's say you like the second song. So I ended up always kind of loving the first song because it wasn't easy to go right to the second one. So you ended up, there were, if that makes any sense, uh, what the hell I'm saying. Everyone's looking at me like, what? But there's pluses and minuses. Yes, too much information, too much outrage,
Getting
too
back to
much.
Tarantino, Freddie.
Yeah.
In Pulp Fiction, what's in that attaché case?
Uh, that's one of his mysteries. Some
Yeah,
thought it was a boxing because it glowed like a belt of a heavyweight. Um,
gold. Yeah, gold, money.
yes, yes,
But that's amazing.
yeah.
I I
I
always,
still
I
sorry.
always felt bad for Bruce Willis in that movie.
Wait. He killed Travolta.
Yeah, but that going back and forth in time at the time it confused the hell out of me. I didn't know what was going on, but
Yeah,
I felt bad for Bruce Willis in that movie.
yeah. Well, me and Joe, I think my favorite Tarantino movie was Jackie Brown because it's a movie where I saw it in the theater, didn't think much, was channel surfing, and then I see that scene with Robert Forster, the bail bondsman, and Samuel Jackson. This is really good. There's something about it that just sucked me right back into it.
Yeah,
And
I also really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a lot. Those are my two favorites.
yeah,
I just love a lot of the things that go on in that.
Al Pacino in it. It's Schwartz, not Schwartz.
Yeah, and then when they go to the ranch, I love when
Yes.
like what's his name? He pokes his finger on the door and he goes, "That's not going to stop me from coming in." You know,
Oh,
the,
yeah, yeah.
the
Well, you
hitchhiker.
well, you didn't like it, I remember, because being such a superhero guy, you didn't like that Brad Pitt's character beat up Bruce Lee. But then
That didn't bother that. You know what? It really didn't bother me. I kind of got used to that after a while. I got
I
used
mean,
to.
it is a great scene. It's
No,
so
no,
stupid.
it's not a deal breaker for me. The first time I saw it because I love Bruce Lee, but I love his character in that movie so much. He's charming.
Yes.
He's kind of dopey and charming at the same time, and he's kind of like second banana, and he's got to do driving for the other guy, DiCaprio, and so you kind of feel sorry for him in some ways.
When he goes, why don't you do that with me, Cato? Yeah. Yeah, no, goes, hey, you got a big mouth. Yeah.
And then
And
also, what's his name is in it?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I love him. And then Kurt Russell's wife in it said, "What'd you do to my car?"
Yes.
I just there's and then at the end, with the when they come to his house and DiCaprio comes out with the picture of his drink to the car and he's yelling at them in his bathrobe. I just love that scene.
Yeah, not it.
Excited because he was on their lunchbox. There was just so many things about that movie that I liked a lot. So that's one of my favorites.
Now, someone asked, which is my favorite era of New York? This is going to sound strange, but I like Kojak, that kind of Manhattan, before whatever it is now. That there was a show, I don't think Joel saw it, with James Franco about, it was called The Deuce, about how 42nd Street Peep Show
Oh,
started.
yeah.
But to me, I liked, it was seminal, it was very seminal time in my life because that's when I started hanging out at comedy clubs with Gilbert, seeing American Werewolf in London at some sleazy theater. That to me was, you see, going to the big city, living in Sheepshead Bay. It was like it might as well have been Nebraska, a small town, because not everyone, most people grew up. You could see almost Manhattan from where we lived, but it was a small town. No one thought to move to Manhattan. They just lived there. So it was always going to the city. And even though it was sleazy, it still was me. represents like my high school days, the improv, trying to get out of Sheepshead Bay and the sleaziness. Like I'm not saying it was my favorite time in LA, but I love movies like Midnight Cowboy, that kind of. It's so ancient, that feel of Manhattan. And Scarlett wants to know what peep shows are. Okay, this is we better not go into it. Lots of people say the '70s were the coolest, even though everyone thought it was dying then. You mean Manhattan? Well, they would, it was that whole thing of, I saw some documentary on Netflix that something with Lindsay and the garbage strike. So there was a lot of, but there was something seductive to me about the sleaziness of Manhattan because it was a going to the city, it's so different than Sheepshead Bay. You know what I mean?
I would go to Manhattan, to the Village to buy records. That's when I was like, that was probably about 1969 when I started doing that. So it was great to go to the Village in those days. And I would go to Central Park around, I guess it was 1970 to about 73 to Central Park to watch all these great concerts. In Central Park, they would be $1.50 to $2.50, and I'd see groups like the band and Todd Rundgren, for $2.50.
Wow.
Middle of Central Park. And so to me, that's the best part of New York for me, that era. And also in sports, you had, the great Knick teams from 1969, to 74 or so, great basketball. And then, you had the Miracle Mets of 69, and then you had the Yankees came back
Jets.
there in 76, the Jets that year in 69. But there were great sports at that time, in New York.
No, it's just,
Since you know what, because I wasn't going to museums, I was watching sports, playing sports, talking sports. So that's and music. I was listening to music, so that's what I noticed, and that that's what was important to me then. I mean, now I don't go to concerts. I don't. I watch sports on TV.
Cody, let me ask you, sorry to interrupt. Have you ever been to a rock concert?
Yeah, I've seen some people in concerts. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've ever been to like a hard like a rock, like what kind of rock? Like I've seen America
Well, well, you're different
when they were.
in that you don't like, well, no, it's a different generation that doesn't have albums, so you don't like go, oh, I want to go see whatever, Tom Petty or stuff. You didn't grow up like that, like where you want to see rock bands.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of people live. Like I said, I saw the group America
Okay, that's cool.
or the what else is the other guys? Christopher Cross. I mean, that's more soft.
Mellow. But
More.
Joel, so when Cody came to visit,
Mm.
I always tell the story. He never had a latte or a parfait, so he's led a sheltered life.
I'm not so sure if I've ever had a parfait. What's it? You mean ice cream?
No, it's like yogurt with granola. It's kind of like a safer breakfast.
Yeah, no, I never
Some
had.
fruit. Oh, yeah. I
I
guess
never
it's
had
not as
one
common.
either. I
I
generally eat bagels for breakfast,
They're
but
good. Those are good.
that's generally what I want. But I don't. Freddie told me, but where do you live?
Ohio.
Ohio. See, I've never been there. A few years ago, I got I really wanted to go watch the Yankees play in Cleveland,
Mm.
because I want to see them play somewhere else. So I was trying to figure out if it's possible for me to make that drive, because well, I guess it's like a 10-hour drive there.
Right. Yeah, because you're in New York, right?
Yeah, have you been there to that stadium?
Um, I have not been in. I've been to. Let's see. I've been to the Kansas City Stadium. For like baseball.
Yeah.
Um, I
See,
see.
that's a nice stadium. I think they're building a new one though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's still beautiful with the fountain they have in the back there.
yeah.
But no, that's what I thought. I've never been to Ohio. Never been there.
Yeah. We're kind of. I'm close to Toledo. Like,
Well, that's when me and Bobby Carradine came out to Toledo for this like film fest.
Yep,
oh, Brad, yeah, he started talking and it just.
Friend Mike,
Oh, there.
Bobby Carradine said, "You know more about my dad than our family does." He just was a John Carradine fanatic, loved him.
Who was?
He knew all his horror movies,
Who was?
everything. He just loved John
Who was
Carradine.
John
So that was
Carradine?
kind of funny.
Freddie.
Oh,
Who was a John Carradine fanatic?
call's coming through.
The guy who was he's talking about was
Oh,
Mike Karen, and he
oh, I love.
helped us get.
Oh, the audio goes out because someone just tried calling.
Hey,
Can
Fred,
you
can you
hear
hear us?
Joel?
I
I
hear you
can't
now,
hear
Freddie.
you. I don't know why. Hey, Wood, when I get a call, it makes the sound go out here. Wood is the tech guy. Hold on, I'm gonna leave and come back in.
All right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, another viewer lives in Ohio as well.
Maybe someday I'll get ambitious and make that drive, you know.
Yeah,
But I still can, right?
yeah. I've seen the Toledo, like I guess it's the Mud Hens.
Toledo Mud Hens, they're famous. One of the most famous minor league teams.
Yeah, that's I've been to the stadium there. So yeah, that's one of them. I did go in there. I don't know if I ever seen. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I did see a game played there once. It's been so long.
Yeah. Are you a sports fan?
Not so much as
Yeah.
others,
All
but
right. You
I'm
know what? That's what I grew up with, sports, you know.
cool.
My father didn't talk to us about history or any, just it was always sports, you know.
Yeah,
My father would always talk about sports, and he used to like to gamble. I never got into the gambling, but
interesting. Yeah.
I never got into that.
uh,
My father likes racing. Like he doesn't like not racing himself, but watching.
Hello?
Hey, Freddie.
Uh,
Father liked to bet on horses.
Oh yeah, horse.
Yeah, I never. The only thing
can
I
you
ever
not
want to
hear?
bet on skill. I don't want to bet on other people.
Hey Fred, can you hear us?
No, he's having trouble.
Maybe it's because when we're talking, he doesn't know that we're. Let me help him.
This guy was trying to call me, and when I get a call coming in, I don't know why it makes the sound go out. I'll just shut this off for a second. But so basically, what this is, Joel, is right now it's mostly this section. We're trying to end part two. It's probably a four-parter, and it's mostly like Cody finessing. The most creative stuff is when we have the audio and we come up with what pictures go good with it to illustrate what I'm saying. But this is kind of a lot of just kind of waiting, just right, Cody. It's more like you're doing the animation, so it's not as creative where we're creating the images together. That's the most fun part.
Right. Yes. This is like moving some things around, like having it animated.
What is that one? Species Fred. That looks good.
Oh yeah, you
That,
like this?
that's basically when. What is there any way you can play the audio of the story to show the context of this?
You could just tell me to make it
Okay,
easy.
so basically, what comes before this, Cody? So I could set it up that
Oh yeah,
people. So people, they call me a Scrooge because I'm not into Christmas and holidays. They say that's like calling a cat a Scrooge. They don't know what holidays are. They're different species, and so am I. And then he has the image of the I'm a different species.
You know what? It the problem is in this world that a lot of people who grew up with stuff, um, they don't understand what it's like. Like one day I was asking Virginia about her childhood, and she said that's my mother-in-law, and she said I had the happiest of childhoods, and I
God
had
bless
never
her.
met anyone like that before. You know what I mean? Because most people have all kinds of, growing up issues. and it was such like opposite of anything that I had ever experienced, you know. And I'm used to like talking to people like Freddie or people maybe not as much or less, or people like me, and I know what I had growing up. So to hear the complete opposite, so those people, they wouldn't understand that you don't know, you know, what goes on the holiday, because you know, it was like a language that they were you know, grew up with, and they spoke that language,
Well, that's why, you know,
and we never had that language.
that's why I had that idea because someone said some show, our family used to watch it together and laugh. And I go, I
Oh,
don't
see,
remember
that's
watching any
that, yeah,
show with
you
my
didn't have that
family.
either, Freddie. But I had that where we would watch sports together. My father, you know, we'd watch, and then as a family, when I was like up to being like maybe 11 or 12, you know, we would watch big movies when they were on, like what's the one that I remember is one of them I remember was The Wizard of Oz. And then what's that other one with something magical? Twinkerbell. What's the other one with
Oh, well,
Tinkerbell?
the Wonderful World of Disney.
What's that, Vicky?
Peter.
Peter Pan. Because they'd show it once a year, and it was such a big thing, you know, and magical and all that. So, like I said before, we would get things together and do that.
We
But
did.
like again, you know,
Mhm.
there are people who, you know, growing up had the opposite of what we experienced. So
It's so
they
alien to me. God bless these people
they can't understand, you
that
know.
I'm disconnected.
They
Yes.
really can't understand it. They feel bad when they hear it.
But they don't understand, like with Christmas. Come on, Fred. You remember
No,
Christmas.
it's like I said, it's like a language that you never spoke. You don't
Well,
know it.
that's why I like this picture. It conveys it. I'm like a different species.
Yeah,
You so this is where we get creative. When we're coming up with it, I go, oh, I had the idea, Cody, make it like I'm a museum, a different species. So I like this. So this is, I mean, I want to get this done, and part of getting it done is this stuff that Cody's doing now, just animating and moving the lips. But this is when it's fun when we hear the thing, and I go, let's think of an image to illustrate that.
right.
And she goes, what the heck is that? Fred translation. But it's just I was watching the show Survivor, and they would have it where we're going to bring out your family you haven't seen, and the sister comes out, they're crying, oh my God, and jumping and hugging. My mother. Oh. If I was on Survivor, maybe if they brought my cat out, but God bless them. I don't.
Think any of my family would come. I mean, maybe my 93-year-old aunt would come and Vicky would come, but um, you know, I don't think they would.
it's.
I just that's why you got to be careful who you invite to anything, because they might not come, you know.
I remember my mother never came to see my stand up, but when I did Caroline's and when I did the book event, every relative showed up.
Wow.
Well, the thing,
I was there.
yes, there was cousins and
Yeah.
aunts and uncles and
One of your
yeah,
I met one of your nieces was there.
Brandis. I only have one niece.
Well, she was there.
Yeah, yeah. But when I did Caroline's cousin Ira, yeah, but yeah, both. Yes, they that's the problem. Yeah. But no, just it is what it is, and this is my happy place, Joel, because when Cody's available, I make myself available because I just want to tell the story. So basically, Joel, I'll send you the very rough version, okay?
Right.
And I sent it to a few people. Well, is it worth working on it? And one person said, this is going to make some people feel less alone. And I go, that's, oh, well, Jeff asked any stories about Catch a Rising Star. Well, I think being cursed out by Rodney is a good story, and
That was
Belzer,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I
who-
got another one from Catch a Rising Star.
yeah,
They had they had Pat Benatar there. They were filming something for HBO, and they had like special entertainers that night. And I went to the bathroom, and Dick Cavett was washing his hands, and he says to me, he goes, "Now you can't say that Dick Cavett was in the bathroom and didn't wash his hands."
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it was very clever. That was very clever.
Yeah. No, Fred, do you have a big extended
Oh, I got
family?
another one. I
Oh,
got
yeah, please.
um. Let's see if I can remember her name. Okay, she was really nasty. She was in The King of Comedy, the comedian.
Sandra Bernhard.
Yeah. So my job, besides being a fire guard at Catches, I would do the blackboard out front, and I would write the names of the weekend acts. And she came in and said, "Who wrote the blackboard tonight?" And I said, "I did." And she goes, "You fucking idiot! You spelled my name wrong."
So you've been cursed out by Sandra Bernhard, Rodney Dangerfield, and Roberta Flack.
And Wendy too.
Oh, yeah, she was a fire guard. Oh, that's so good. It's just,
Oh, I
who
got cursed out. I got cursed out here too in New Jersey. Well, when I was in New Jersey yesterday, because I was trying to make a left turn on this really bad. There was hardly any room really to get to the place, where the arrow was, and I was being very careful because it's a very, very small driveway to get to my aunt's assisted living. So I was hesitating because there was a car coming the other way, and I wanted to make sure I had enough room. So the guy behind me, he swerves around me and stops his car to say, "You fucking idiot, turns faster."
When Cody stayed with me and we went to Andy Paley's memorial, I was having PTSD because I was having trouble getting in a lane. uh, And I remember this person I was dating, she'd always go, get aggressive, get aggressive. Like, it was bad.
It's not a good thing to have somebody in the car yelling to do something. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, and especially get aggressive. You don't drive it. Yes. It
No,
was.
no, let the driver drive is, what I say,
So is this the beginning of it? We're all done, Cody. You want to just play it even without the sound, so Joel gets an idea?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of scroll through it for him, and you can
Yeah.
kind of.
So this starts out where don't you just love holidays? I probably have it memorized. I could tell you. I'm going, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Don't you love holidays? Something I used one of Joel's lines. I'm a fish out of water the second I wake up in the morning. Take, for example, a time I was at Fred Willard's Thanksgiving dinner. Mary Willard glad at me. I took it as if she was saying, why did I invite this idiot to my intimate Thanksgiving dinner in my nice fancy home? And then I guess I described that oh, my favorite Thanksgiving tradition, 2 minutes to Wapner. Um, and then like I explained, such a simple question to most people, but I was stumped. Um, I'm explaining that she put like these questions under the plate before we dug into our Thanksgiving dinner, and I couldn't come up with my favorite. It was like a clock ticking down in my head to an explosive device. I couldn't bear to make eye contact with the 12 other family members and various friends sitting around the Willards. See, it's a hybrid. It's sort of animated, but it's also like from a graphic novel. You know what I mean? Like we're showing it,
Right.
but with Cody closes in,
Yeah.
and where I guess I'm explaining more stuff. And then the others seem to effortlessly muse about their warm holiday memories.
Uh,
And then and me, they're all glaring at me. And then what's her name? Joanne really goes, just pick any one of them already. And how this actress from Laughing was I don't have the timing down, was staring at me like I was this actress from
I
Laughing I grew up
like I
watching.
like that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Staring at me like I was That's a good shot. Yeah. Like I was holding up the line at the ice cream place, you know. Um, and then, so then I'm just talking about, I forgot what I was saying here, but so the narrator is animated, and just how Fred Willis piped up at the end of the table. It's okay. He doesn't have any. Let's move
I like
on.
that picture,
Oh yeah, you see
but,
how it's the Mad Magazine
but
kind of
I like
in
that picture.
kind of, yeah, he said it's okay, let's move on. He doesn't have one because I couldn't think of, I just happened to go, I got one. I finally came up with a tradition. What I loved was the day after Thanksgiving, Friday, there was still 2 more days of no school. And then
Ah,
and then this other guy, there was this kind of hammy
that's a
flamboyant.
good one.
Yeah. He then this guy goes, "Great tradition, Fred." It was true. This guy was mocking me. That's a great tradition. That's his favorite tradition. Great tradition. And I go, he was like a comedian, you know, putting a flashlight on me in the front row, you
Yeah,
know.
that's nice. Yeah.
So then Allie, this news anchor sitting next to me, picked up her thing, and then felt sorry, like I don't deserve to be there, like everywhere, you know, like I shouldn't be there. So then it goes into what we're working on. This is part 2 where I don't fit into most places, blah blah blah. So yeah, it just starts with a little story. So very excited about it.
Yeah, that's really nice the way you illustrate it and everything. The
Mm.
kind of stuff I like to look at. What I don't like about the graphic novels that are flooding the market now is I open it up and it's so busy.
That's
Um,
what I mean. Yes,
I can't deal with it. The graphic novels I started with really, was like the what do you call it, the Frank Miller stuff.
Mm.
The like the 300 and all that, and like Freddie said, the Harvey Pekor stuff, which is, I like things where I understand what's going on. I
yes,
I grew up with comic books that were easy to read, that I knew
like Archie.
what was going on, and also visually, I don't like looking at all the stuff going on. I like simplicity. I don't know. Do you know comic book artists at all? Like
He does.
Marvel, like Jack Kirby. Do you know him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, the ones that I
Yeah.
like were Jack Kirby. I like Ditko a lot. For the humor, Jack Davis and all that, and
Yeah,
uh,
he's very influenced by Jack Davis. Who's
Alex
that other one?
is
Who?
another
Who?
Alex Toth. He we're
yeah, yeah,
like looking at his drawings.
yeah. He did like I think I used to read the. I think he did like spooky comics for DC Comics at one time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think so. But like I
Spooky.
said, I like simplicity, and what you're doing here. I mean, it's not like busy to the eye. You know what I mean? Like right now, a lot of media, whether it's sound or sight, they're blasting you. You know what I mean? And I think that you bring people in, especially, you know, um, people who want some kind of story, where you tell a story better this way than where there's a million things going on. I also like when you have like a page of something, and then there's something that you didn't notice until you read it 10 times and you notice something.
Yeah, like
Like
Mad
I
Magazine.
didn't notice it until like a few minutes. It took me a few minutes to looking at the shirt, and after I go, why is there an 8? And I go, 8 ball. So it's a little thing like that, I think, is great. It's just I don't know if a lot of people understand that, but I think it's great.
Oh, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. No, it means a lot.
No, it's
Oh,
again, this is my project. It's the type of thing like if I didn't know who Fred Stoller was, I was at a bookstore, saw a graphic novel about some lonely misfit guy, easy to read. I mean, one thing why I like this is Joel's always been a great friend, and he would read the stories I would send him. Oh, this one's good, this one's not good. But people, friends and not friends get tired of reading stories, but this is stuff you can't go out and want to read it because it's so easy and easy. So it's the type of thing I would like if I was at the bookstore. Oh, this looks like some misfit guy, and he's just trying to get through life. So
You know,
I
also, for there's so many like things out now. I mean, even like with graphic novels. I mean, I go into a comic book store, and if there was something good in there, I don't think I'd ever find it. You know what I mean? Unless somebody told me about it. You know what I read mostly with comic books? I read the old reprints. That's what it. That's that's kind of what I read. I read old reprints because every now and then I'll look at something. Like I said, it's so busy. I have a very short attention span too. I need kind of something like easily digested. So
yeah.
you know,
No, I
and you know what? Nowadays, whether it's music or anything else, people try to be so clever and so like, why do 10 when I could do 20? And 5 would be enough of whatever it is.
yes.
It's
Right.
just like if I hear music, I want to be able to hear the words. I mean, I like Eminem, but I don't understand a lot of the words. He's one of the few rappers I like. I don't like too many rappers.
Oh, Gary was dancing to Eminem, drunk in the street. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I make now Gary's Cody's dad.
All
I,
right.
I I make up stories that he fell off a bar stool. He's a great guy.
No,
He so Cody, their family. Cody's never been on a plane, and they drove him, his brother, and parents from Ohio. Because Cody, I'll send you. He did a really sweet tribute to Andy, my friend who died in it, and Cody got to know him and took one of Andy's songs and did a really sweet animated piece to it, and people loved it. There was that. So I don't know if you like the group The Cars, Joel, but what the guitar player turned out was a good friend to Andy, and
I like some of their songs.
yeah. So I'm listening to a book about them. Joel sounds like he could do a good impression of Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
No,
Uh, and
no, no. I'm not good at impressions really. But I look at clips on YouTube from Rodney Dangerfield. I never get tired of it. I mean, he had that bit, and I just love that bit. It's just like the character to me was great. Um,
what's his what Scott's going? Can you answer the question I had? I don't have a big extended family, or maybe I do, but we just the sad reality is where I grew up, there wasn't a sense of connection. My sister, uh, I had I had cousin Kenny who just died. He lived in Long Island. His parents were cool, but it wasn't this. Hey, we're fair. Like Vicky, I don't mean to give much away, but I wish I had that sense, but this is family, and I always hear it. It's as old as the world, and it's just something that never. That's why I feel like an alien because that's as old as it gets. Is like, but this is
yeah,
family, and I don't have that connection.
yeah.
Sad,
I had more of it than you did. Because growing up, I mean, I'd play games with my brother.
right?
And we grew up in the projects, and everybody played outside. So I did have that growing up. I had that. I was thinking while you were talking about your sister, what would she think if like she heard these things? What would she say?
About what?
You saying like we didn't have a connection, my
Well,
sister.
she actually says that we've talked about it, where we got closer a little bit when my mother was in a memory care because she really did most of the hard stuff, and she's aware of it. She said to me, "We grew up in a family. It's not a diss against my sister, or we didn't have can. Everyone was like freaked out, every man for themselves."
Right.
And so she said it. We grew up in a family where there was no connection. It's not an insult against me or her. It's just that you know,
That's great that she could say that to you. You know what? I
yeah.
can't say that to any of my brothers or sisters.
No,
Um,
no, no, yeah.
they don't want to talk about the past.
No,
And,
it's no dis. My sister's a very great person,
well, that's good.
but
Well, that
she's like me. I'm disconnected. She's just well. The thing I always tell people is she could never say the word mom and dad. It's just Pearl and Mars. She's so disconnected. She can't even think of them as parents. She can't use the term mom or dad or It's Pearl and Mars. So no, we often on Instagram, like if we'll get some meme about coming from a mother who was not an adult. So we send each other things back and forth, not blaming, but so yeah. So I understand our disconnection isn't because either of us, like I said, are bad, but it's my sister's the one who said it. We grew up in a household where we had no sense of being connected. Everyone was, that's what a lot of trauma and blocking out childhood. I don't have a lot of childhood memories because there was so much chaos that we had to disconnect from the situation, from each other. And another thing, and this is a therapy session, but another thing my sister would say is she wasn't a nurturing big sister to me because she resented that she had to be like a parent to my mother. Like, where should we go on vacation? What should we eat? My mother wasn't really an adult. So
right.
my sister resented having to be a big a parent figure to my mother. She didn't want to be to me. So it's yes. So if my sister heard that, we do talk about it. That we're aware of it. That it
Well,
was
it's
we
good that
grew
you.
up in no sense of connection. Sorry.
That's good that you can talk about it, with her, and it's also good that growing up that way, your sister was able to, become a professional and all of that, because not having the guidance,
Yeah, I mean, I never really had parental figures, so I went through phases looking for big, big brother figures, and as they say, it is what it is. I
yeah, yeah.
mean,
You know what? We got to be here today, and
you know, I
deal with today. I mean, it's good to come to an understanding of who you are and where you came from. And some people can't look back. And, I mean, I look back at a lot of things, but I don't look back with anger. Mostly when I come up with things from the past, I try to, get humor out of it,
Well,
because,
yeah, that's the thing. I'll just talk about it. People go, get over it. And I'm laughing about it, how ridiculous and insane it was. So I'm not dwelling. I'm just saying that, yeah, I don't know if I sent you, but I came across a birthday card a few
you,
years,
you showed it to me. Yeah.
and bought the wrong mistake. She crossed out brother, wrote son. She couldn't say love mom. She said fondly. So she wasn't doing it to be funny. So it is what it is, you
You know
know?
what? It my father had some great sayings, and one of them was, that's why they put erasers on pencils, and you can't make erasers out of a donkey. I mean, people are who they are, and when we try to get them to be something else, that's when we get really worn out and all that. We have to accept the imperfections and try not to let it destroy us, really, because we live in an imperfect world. And I always use
Well,
humor.
yeah, imperfect if you're around the Shank family. I'm just kidding. That's Cody's.
Yeah,
I make these dumb jokes because, like, that he's in a street gang. No, the Cody,
well,
you can see, he's the greatest guy.
yeah, but
It's
anybody that
going well.
smiles a lot is obviously
He,
know what I mean? He doesn't have that bitter, run over look.
no, he's like, exactly. He's
No,
not
no,
like,
no.
yeah, he's just sort of like, it's great. And,
He, he's the
Bobby
kind of
Carradine,
listen. Have you ever been to New York?
I have.
Okay, when you come to New York the next time, don't smile as much.
Okay.
It's,
I'll try
I don't. I tell people, don't smile as much, and when you're walking, don't answer to people calling out. Oh, do you know what time it is? Or just keep walking. But
and
but but especially You know, I don't know. That's my philosophy. You know, I tell to people, you know,
Yeah.
and don't leave anything in your car ever.
Well, right. That's
No,
that's a good
no.
one.
So you have never been in an airplane?
No.
No. Is it because you don't want to, or just haven't had to do it for any reason?
I think a little bit of both of those.
Yeah.
I never had to. I mean, like the only reason why I would need to get to use one is to go far quick,
Yeah.
and California would be the place that I would need to get far quick, because it's across the whole state of or the country.
But
But
you went to visit Freddie where in California?
yeah,
But you
Well,
drove.
but he got so Andy Paley was a great friend of mine. Loved the stuff I was doing with Cody, and then he contacted Cody because he had an idea. You know, Andy's been with a lot of bands. He's from Boston, where he started with the Cars. So Andy and Cody were working on something. Then Andy sadly had a very fast moving cancer, didn't make it, and then like a few months after he died, there was a memorial out here where Cody, like I said, animated this song and it was very sweet. So Cody decided, I've never seen one of my pieces done in front of a crowd. So you came out with your family, and his family stayed in a hotel. Cody stayed with me, and right, Cody,
yep.
and Joel had enough.
Oh no, did my I was saving.
Yeah, I think Wood is messing things up.
I think
If
he's.
you want to know my, if you
I
want to know my opinion,
didn't know. Maybe I clicked a button and crashed it or something. I don't know. I don't know
I
if I
don't know.
hope I didn't do
Well,
anything.
maybe I should let you go. You work today? You're tired?
No, I didn't work today, but I did some things. Oh yeah, I helped for lunch. Got some stuff for lunch and did all that. Oh, we lost him. Oh, here he is. He's back.
Yeah. So
So you
yeah,
drove to California. That's 1,500 miles from where you are.
Yeah, it's quite a drive.
And how many days did it take you?
For us, it took us I'd say around like 4 or 5, like around 4.5, 5. Yeah,
Each way? Wait, each way took you 5 days?
yeah. I think we did yep, about 5 days.
Five
Four.
days. And how many drivers was that?
Um, we were it was me, mom, and dad. You said how many drivers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were all allowed to drive, so we got four, family of four. So
Okay. Okay, that's nice.
yeah.
Because I drove to Florida like a year and a half ago, and I really liked it. It's 1,000 miles, and we had two drivers.
Oh nice.
Took 2 days, one night, because my sister-in-law, you know, was a great driver, and she did like 60%. But she wanted to get there in the worst way and not have to spend another night in the hotel. We got both times like 2 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? If I could, I mean, I would like to take those long drives. You know,
Yeah.
I like it better than flying. I have an aunt that I'm helping now. She's 87, and she never flew in a plane. She
Wow.
never. Yeah, they used to drive everywhere. My uncle and his wife and their daughter used to drive a lot to Florida and
well,
Canada.
the stories about going to Florida and we Fountain Blue and all the hotels when we stayed in Miami, and my father did all the driving. My mother never learned to drive her whole
Right,
life.
right.
And yeah, going to
Funny,
so
my
one thing in the thing, it's kind of funny and sad. It's weird. Like again, I blocked out so many memories, but some memories stick, and I don't know why. And it's in the story where we're gonna about to go, but in school I raised my hand and I said I was like 9, and I said, Family, we're going to Florida for the vacation. Teach, because that's great. I go, yeah, but what are the chances we won't get killed? We're traveling so much. There's got to be an accident. And the teacher was, just how she did her best to reassure me, but just how messed up I was as a kid, just growing up with everything. You'll come home in a box. You'll get killed if you go there, all that other stuff. But yeah,
But why did you drive to Florida and not fly, Freddie? You know?
it's a good question. I'm not sure why.
I mean, did you stop along the way? Were there places you wanted to go along the way?
No, we'd stay at a hotel on the way.
I mean,
I don't
did
know
you
if it was
relatives
money.
along the way or anything?
What's that?
Did you see any relatives along the way?
No, and that's a good question. Maybe it was financial, like save money, not flying.
Uh,
Yeah, there was no like we're gonna stop and go in Virginia to a winery. I don't know what I'm saying, or something like planned. We just went down there. But yeah, maybe to save money. Three people on a plane. I don't know. Good
you
question.
can go with you?
No. In the story, maybe I was 9. She was maybe 15 or 16. So that's another reason we weren't close, 6-year age difference. So
Yeah.
sometimes brothers and sisters closer when they share friends or do things.
Well,
But
growing up, my older sister was 4 years older. She used to take me to movies. I'll always remember the movies she took me to. And my brother and I used to play sports together. Mostly he played with people his age. He was 3 years older, but we played sports games together in the house. We played Nerf basketball too, and the lady downstairs.
but your father, I would have loved to see video of how you can't dribble, how you playing Nerf basketball.
One day I'll
Um,
show you. You make believe you're dribbling.
I
You have
remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, you make
No, you make
believe.
believe you make
Exactly. That's
you make believe you're
insane.
dribbling, and if you don't, then you call a travel on them.
You would call traveling on each other?
Yeah, and
That's
then
insane.
when I would interfere with the ball at the basket, it was called Joel tending.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. That would be a good scene in a movie. You never see a movie with a family playing Nerf basketball with a father being very competitive.
Yeah. Now
I mean that.
before we had the house, we lived in an apartment, and we used to use a coat hanger and a sock.
Oh, I did that. I did that.
And
Yeah.
and the lady downstairs would always be banging on our ceiling with a
Yeah.
broomstick.
I would play by myself with the coat hanger, make up different teams. Yes, I made up imaginary basketball people, my own league of people. But well, in a way, it sounds like in one way you had a great father in that you played sports and games with him. And my father was not net. I thought it was great because he said and did nothing, like
Yeah.
compared to my mother yelling all the time. So,
Freddie, I would wish for a father that did nothing because um did you ever see my father in action?
well, okay, let me tell you something. Okay, so to the few people listening, so I didn't know Joel till I was 17. But I lived there since I was 5, and I remember so I lived on Brown Street, which is, let's say, this way, and this way was Voorhees Avenue where he
You
lived.
lived about 200 feet from me, I think.
But there
Diagonally.
were a few times where there was screaming matches with a neighbor, and it had to have been your father. Did he like getting screaming matches with neighbors?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. So I didn't know Joel back then, but you son of a bitch, and screaming
And
and
sometimes it wasn't neighbors, it was us.
so I remember hearing a lot of screaming, and it
No, he
had
did.
to have been Jack, Joel's father. So so yeah, I saw him. Well, what Joel used to do would be taping his father, and we would laugh like you son of a bitch. But he yeah.
I would lock the door and he'd be screaming at me. And then one time, because I had an audience, I had my friends behind the
Yeah.
door. So then one time, I taped it. So I would I would say things that would infuriate him more while he was screaming at me. So one time he was screaming at me, cursing me out, and I say, "But Dad, what about Dylan?"
Yeah, I don't give a shit
And
about
then he
Dylan or
said,
who
"I don't care,
got.
Dylan or Ugats."
But one time, so Joe lived in like the basement and he had a locked door, but for some reason, maybe Joe was smoking pot and his mother was trying to put her fingers through the door to open it. And Joel had like a toy gun and he pretended he was shooting the fingers. Did you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I remember a lot of that, and you know, I would get into all this trouble, and I had no, I never, because smoke would rise, so they always knew when I was smoking, and yet I never, it never prevented me from, continuing. I
Yeah,
mean,
so she would bang on the
trouble.
door, like, stop, get out, get them out. And then, I remember, I got this cousin, I don't want to go into it, but one story. So I guess they were doing an all-nighter, my cousin and Joel. So he kept peeking to see when my father left for work, when he could ring my doorbell and wake me up. He kept peeking, going, the car's still there, the car's still there. So yeah, it was I guess Joe, was a lot of fun because we're both from dysfunctional families. So we just kind of, bonded over just insanity. But again, it's just like, right now I'm in
But you were used to like, Lee, I think, and I think I had more colorful stories.
you what?
I had more colorful stories.
Yes, Lee was, yeah, Lee
And
was.
then there was that time that you told me about on a Jewish holiday when you were eating pizza. That's a good one.
No, I remember they would guilt me because we were bad Jews. So Lee's father goes, I'm going to wish you a happy new year, even though you're practicing to be a goyim. Like they weren't allowed to play with me because we were bad Jews. We ate chametz, which is non-kosher food. So we were ostracized by the other, the Jewish families on the block because we were unobservant. So, it's just, yeah, I guess, it is what it is, but I'm still here and maybe
Well, yeah.
eat some good food, enjoy myself, take naps. Just, I could have ended up a lot worse.
Yeah,
So
well, you live long enough, you say goodbye to a lot of people, so you realize, you know what, try to enjoy your moments. Like
yeah.
Warren Zevon's last album, it was called "Enjoy Every Sandwich."
Who's this?
Warren Zevon's
I
last,
want to check that out. All right.
yeah, I think it was a tribute to him, and I think it was called "Enjoy Every."
Oh, I could enjoy every sandwich.
Yeah, like there's terrible things in this world we have no control over, but you could still find things to do to make your little world a little better and people around you and
Yeah.
to enjoy moments. I mean, that's why people have pets as well.
Do you hear that? Do you hear
But
that, Luna?
I think, I don't like being around people. All they do is complain, and focus on the misery and all of that. And
Yeah.
when people all they do is complain, I say, did anything good ever happen to you? That's what I tell them, because you know what? The
I know what I say to Cody all the
world is
time.
filled with obstacles. So it's our job to get through them. And if you want to get through them, miserable, that's your choice. And if you want to enjoy your moments, and even in the things that you remember that were sad, both of us find humor
Yeah,
that
we had
kept us
some. We
going.
had some. That's the thing. We were sad, but we had some laughs.
Yeah, and
We
I'm gonna be
well,
71, and I'm glad I'm not a bitter person. I'm not bitter at all. I don't hate anybody. I really don't wish anybody bad, and
well,
you know,
just the fact me and you got to hang out, even though he's insane, with Gilbert Gottfried and laughing, you know, just you know what I mean, things like that. Just him walking around the bar acting ridiculous, that Catch a Rising Star.
you know what? I was glad to see that video about Gilbert because I got to see like a more normal side that I had never seen, you know, and I was still amazed that he ever got married, you know, with the little that I saw of him, you know, but I really liked that, you know, that documentary about Gilbert Gottfried. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, you know, I just really liked it because, you know, I wasn't friends with him like you, but I mean, I did see him a lot, and you know, and of course I saw him in movies and TV and all that, but seeing him, you know, in real life, never seeing the person behind it, and also
Yeah.
he grew up in Brooklyn, and it tells the story of, you know, his father and, you know, where he grew up. I found that real interesting, you know, but. Listen, I'll wrap up.
Yeah, Cody,
Everybody's
we should all
now.
sign off. I'm gonna figure out dinner. Joel, thank you. Cody, were you entertained?
Oh yes, it was a pleasure to meet you, Joel. And
Well, thank you, Cody. Nice to meet you too. And you know, the things that you do, what little I see here, I mean, I see you're a great talent and you're a super person that I can see as well. So I mean, you got a great talent, you know, and Freddie's fortunate to be hooking up,
Yeah.
you know, because you know, if you could get along, you know, creatively, it's very rare, you know, to have the patience, you know, with a partner, you know, and you know, Fred has the stories and you have the talent, you know, so I wish your project, you know, goes where you want it to go. I'm sure it will because you both have a lot to offer with that. So again, nice to meet you. Maybe some
Hey, great,
at a
Joel.
baseball game, and I'll meet you there in
All
Ohio.
right.
oh
All
yeah,
right, Joel. All right, Jeff, saying good night. Scarlett, saying good
Good night,
night.
thank
everybody.
you,
Good
Bye.
night.
Joel.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out. So, Cody, how,
Bye.
so we're getting closer with part two, huh? Ending it. Getting closer. Can you hear me? All right. I got to ask Wood. All right. We'll just leave. I'll just talk to you. Bye.
Save that. Hello, I'm back. See everybody.